Hello, I'm lost in my computer. We have a truly international group today. I'm Kathy in Vermont, and Susie, everybody knows Susie von Menzenkamp, is in Ireland. And our guest today, our special guest that I haven't seen in so long, you melt my heart, is Kahu Lāhela, and she's in Hawaii. Ramzi will be here as soon as he's free, any moment. Welcome, Kahu. Nice to see you.
It's so great to see you, ladies. I love you both so much, and I love Ramzi, and I'm so happy that you invited me to be a guest here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love how we can span thousands and thousands and thousands of miles and be together in one place at the same time. This is so cool.
Right.
It is
You
the
and Susie
ultimate
must be opposite. Were you like actually on the opposite ends of the world?
Possibly. It's 7 p.m. for me here. So what time is it where you are, Lāhela?
It is 8 a.m. So
wow, 11 hours, is it? Or wow. Wow, that's so cool. I'm so excited to be here. This feels like the gift that keeps on giving to recreate these little connections and reconnect. And I can't wait to introduce Lāhela to everybody who's been tuning in to the podcast for the last couple of months, because I think they're going to be thrilled to bits to learn what she has on offer and connect with her directly here. So feel free, anybody who has any questions for Lāhela, to put them in the chat, and let's get the party started. Kathy.
Lāhela, tell us about your work. I've experienced your work in our groups with Janet Connor, and you taught me about forgiveness and how that has become a staple, really, of all the work that Janet and I do. It seems like every new step, every new stage of our evolution, it hinges on forgiveness of some sort, and it's been so freeing in my life over the past, I don't know how many years, 3 or 4 years. So yeah, talk to us about your work in the world.
Thank you. That's beautiful. First of all, I do want to give huge mahalos to Janet Connor. Because of Janet, I've been, she's really helped me to step into this more of my kahu role. My title is Kahu, Kahu, means Hawaiian spiritual guide. I feel like I am a guardian of the light, a keeper of the light, and I know that it is my kuleana. I'm going to use some Hawaiian words, but I'll translate them. It is my kuleana. It is my responsibility in this lifetime. I know that I've decided to come back here into this earthly realm because my kuleana is about forgiveness. It is about all of the Hawaiian values that I talk about, and forgiveness, the forgiveness piece, as you mentioned, is in the Hawaiian culture. We have a practice that's called ho'oponopono that many people are familiar with through the works of the book Zero Limits with Dr. Hugh Len, and I'm forgetting the Joe Vitale, that's his name. So Zero Limits, the book. And so many people are familiar with I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you, as a practice to say and to repeat when you want to clear energy between you and a person or a situation. I use it all the time. If I'm driving on the road and I see an ambulance going in the other direction, I will say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you, and send love to that situation so that they can be on a trajectory of healing, sooner than later. So, but those 4 statements is not the the deeper meaning of Ho'oponopono. It's not the deeper translation of Ho'oponopono. So let me break Ho'oponopono down. Ho'oponopono, pono, the word pono means integrity. It means goodness. It means, to me, it means selflessness. It means doing the right thing for yourself, and not just for yourself, but for the betterment for everyone. And so it's being truthful to yourself also. We must speak our truth. And when we do so, oh, there's Ramzi. Hello, friend. It's been so long. Oh my gosh, it's a party up in here.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's lovely to see you. Oh my gosh. And you're coming from South America?
Yes,
South Africa? Or is it
America.
South America? Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Aloha, Ramzi. Aloha.
Aloha, thank you.
So, yeah, just talking about Ho'oponopono here, Ramzi, and kind of breaking it down here. So yeah, so pono is a very powerful word, and it is a Hawaiian value. And when we live according to Hawaiian values, we enter into a higher standard of living. We heighten ourselves, and we step out onto a path of intentionality, being intentional with our work, being intentional with how I'm showing up in this world on a daily basis. So you don't just go la-di-da through your life, you gotta like engage, show up in a way that you bring your best into your relationships, and that can be your relationships with your loved ones. It can be your relationship with nature. It can be your relationship at work. And so it's really holding yourself accountable. And that's pono. And that's a little word with a big impact. Pono. And when we add ho'o in front of that, ho'o turns it into action. It's like to cause pono. And so when I ho'opono, that means I am being truthful with myself. I'm being truthful with my words. I want the best for the betterment of everyone. And so I'm going to ho'opono. I'm going to speak my truth. I'm going to speak with intention. I'm going to live my life in this way so that I'm not creating more pilikia, as we say, more trouble for myself. And then when we add that second pono, ho'opono pono, that's when we do the work with others. So I will speak my truth, but I'm going to want to ho'oponopono a situation where maybe there's a misunderstanding, a disagreement, there is resentment, anger, whatever, between yourself and others, or it could be, in the family, and you just want to clean this situation, or it could be someone in the family is ill. And so in the Hawaiian culture, we believe when someone in the family is ill, then ho'oponopono needs to happen. So let's speak it out. Let's get clear with one another, our perspectives on what we feel occurred that could have created this situation, so that we can clean it up together. And so this is the forgiveness piece that Kathy asked me about this. It's powerful work, and everything that happens to us in our lifetime is happening for us. And if we show up in this way, we know that. Well, I can feel when I have connections, chords of disharmony, chords of. I know because I can tell when my energy is draining or when I'm exhausted. I'm depleted, and I've got, because maybe something's been bothering me, troubling me, and maybe my mind is staying stuck in a groove on the record, and I gotta like move the needle. And so I know that I need to cleanse myself. I know that I need to cut the cords and release so that I can cleanse, stand on the new threshold of the day, of the new day, and start new, start fresh, wipe the slate clean. So that's so yeah, and I want to say thank you because, it's been an amazing journey that through the work that I've done with Janet Connor, it's allowed me to get clearer and clearer and clearer about what it is that I do. And it's like when you teach something, you're actually learning it for yourself, right? So, and I know, and I feel like, and I say this a lot, that I feel that the forgiveness piece is so huge for me in this lifetime because of whatever I did in my past lives. I'm here now to clean it up.
Isn't it great that you get the chance to clean it up, So I'd say we've all been messing it up as we're going along, past lives, this life, but the beauty is that these practices, and they're ancient. And my question for you, Lāhela, is how did it all begin? How did you know this? How did you connect with it? And is it linked to where you were born? Or is it in your family lineage? I'd love to know about the origins of your story.
Thank you. That's a great question. Well, I was a professional photographer for almost 30 years. But I always had a strong rooted connection to nature. My mom, when I was maybe, I was probably about 6 or 7, my mom started a flower farm business, growing tropical flowers, gingers, heliconias, and a whole, variety of foliages. She just loved farming, but my mom is amazing. She's still with us. I caregive for my 91-year-old mom. She's right next door. And
Wow.
so, anyway, I want to just send her love because she's just doing so well. And so anyway, as children, we were the ones, we would go to school. And when we came home, she said, okay, get out in the field, go pull weeds and water the plants. So we had to do that every day of the week. And at first, as a child, you don't appreciate, why you got to do this, and you're like, oh man, I want to go watch, TV. I want to go watch, watch cartoons and stuff like that. But okay, we'll go out in the field, do the work, right? Well, what happened though, and what I recognized is as I was out in nature doing these things, there was a connection that was, and you don't know it as a kid, but I realized it later in life that I was developing a relationship with nature, with the spirit of the Aina, as we say, the spirit of the land. And as we know, the land is our ancestors, right? And we lived very close to this very ancient Hawaiian fish pond that was built in around 800 AD, where it was built by the Menehune. They're known as the Menehune. We're very little people who built this amazing rock wall, and it's about 126 acres of sea, um, of sea area that they built a rock wall around. So you can imagine the size of this thing. And we grew up very next to that. And I knew that, I mean, I could feel their energy, their spirit coming across from the fish pond to where our home was, right on the water. So I knew that where we lived, it was a different upbringing.
Mm.
I was, and I loved hanging out with my grandparents. I thought my grandparents were the coolest people ever. They did the coolest things. And that's why I got into photography, because I wanted to document them doing the things, the Hawaiian things, doing the cultural things, because I knew one day they're not going to be here. And
Mm.
who's going to teach this? And so I needed to document them. So I was doing photography and videography just out of love, and that's how I got into photography. So fast forward, um 30 years, almost 30 years as a professional, I start to feel a tap on the shoulder, an etheric tap on the shoulder and a whisper in the ear, "You're going to go in this direction now." And I'm like, "What?" No, and at that time, I started to have these dreams. And so my mentor at the time, a wonderful man, Kahu Wendell Silva, and I just want to say, Apule, love you, Kahu. He just recently passed, just a couple weekends ago.
Wow.
Anyway, so he told me, he says, "You're stepping into this other area now. You're going to enter into what we call, the realm of the sage." And I'm like, "Okay." And he said, "And you're going to need to ask who's going to help you be a bridge between the physical and the spiritual realms." And I said, "Well, wouldn't that be you? You've been my mentor all these years." And he said, "No, not necessarily." He says, "You need to ask." I said, "Okay." So I asked. I asked my guides, and over a course of maybe a couple weeks to a month, a friend of mine says, "Hey, I want to introduce you to my kumu. She's looking for a place to teach her lomi lomi classes, which is Hawaiian, a form of Hawaiian massage. And and she'd like to meet you." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I was like, "Oh, this will be interesting." So we met her, and sure enough, we fell in love, and she became my kumu. And she taught us everything. And I say us because there was a group of us. Our home turned into her center, and we had people coming in the day and the night. We had a revolving door at the entrance. And for for 2 years, she taught lomi lomi, and that was the fast track. This was in 2010. This is the fast track in spirituality at that time. At that time, also, I had found out about the beautiful Dolores Cannon and
Mm.
her work with quantum healing hypnosis technique. And so I found out she was coming to Hawaii, and I thought, "Oh my gosh, what a great opportunity to meet this woman." And so my brother and I went and found out she had a class that weekend. I've got to get into this class. And that's when my jaw dropped. This work was amazing, tapping into people's subconscious, and to have a conversation with someone's subconscious, that just blew the
Yeah.
lid off. And so then one of my so I needed to do a year of QHHTs in order to get to level 2. So one of my very dear friends comes, and now she's channeling in the session, and she's channeling the Light Council. And so we were in a year and a half of conversations with the Light Council. So
Wow.
all of this was like the fast track. They're like, "Okay, get on board, because you got to buckle up, because we're going on this amazing ride, and you got to stick with us." And so we did that, and they had shared with the Light Council had shared with us that, because one of the questions I had for them was, who are you? Where are you coming from? And why are you working with us? And they said, well, you folks all were burnt at the stake. And after that life, we came together and we formed a pact that we would come together and teach this at this time. And I said, okay. And I said, who else do you work with? They said, well, we work with a group of Tibetan female monks, but we work differently with them. We walk with them in their dream state. And so anyway, I'm just trying to give you just kind of snippets of this trajectory that I was on, the spiritual journey that brings me up to here and now. So my mom, very psychic. So I get some of this from her, and so it is in our family lineage, yes. But much of it I didn't discover until, way late, 2010 is really when things started to ramp up. Yeah.
Wow, what a cool story. We can all really identify with that too, I think. Many of us here anyway. Ramzi, do you have a question for Lāhela?
Well,
Comment.
incredible journey. First of all, I'm so honored to be here actually and listen to it. And I like the way you weave certain things. And I know I joined in late, so I do apologize. I was running late from the thing. But you did mention one thing: is the teacher and the taught are one, which is enormously. I'm just going to rephrase it. It's actually amazing to hear that from someone else, because we all are teachers in our own way in life, and we should just appreciate the wisdom that comes through, because it's like you said, you don't bring it into this world for the listener, but you bring it into this world for you too. And that kind of touched me at the beginning while you were mentioning that, and I actually jotted it down. I go, no, I have to talk to her about it after. So that's amazing, and it's a beautiful, beautiful journey. And while you were talking, I saw you deeply rooted in the earth, in the I don't want to say tradition, but you're kind of one with the whole environment that you're in. So I'll rephrase that in my mind. It's not like you bring in tradition or you hold tradition. You are tradition.
Mm.
You're with it, and you're kind of trying to conserve it. And the conservatism part of it is your teaching, which is amazing how you found yourself. And I like the QH. I think it's a QHHT.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I'm mistaken. It's a bit of a tongue twister for me. So could you just deep dive a bit into that part of your work? Because I know it is not the work that you do, but it is a core of what you do.
Yes, thank you. And I love it I enjoy it so much. And, most people, I would say everyone who comes to have a QHHT session with me is always a bit fearful. They don't know what to expect. This is it's uncertain, right? And they're like, oh, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know if I'm gonna go under. I don't know. They have all, and obviously we know that we have two parts to us, right? We have the ego mind, and then we have the divine mind, the spiritual mind. And the ego mind, he's the bouncer at the door, and he's like, you're not going to go. I'm not allowing you to go on this journey. No, I'm going to keep you safe. And so the beautiful thing about the QHHT is that there is what we call talk story time. We're sharing, I'm learning from the individual who comes to me. I'm learning about their background. I'm learning about their curiosities, and they bring 2 pages of questions for me to ask their subconscious. So it's very gentle. It's very loving. There's nothing to be afraid of. And I do prayer at the beginning to put in place all of the protection. And then, I really set it up nicely. And then they listen to a little bit of theta music to ease themselves into it and sort of drop into, as Janet always says, drop into theta. And it's lovely. And then we go on this journey together, and they're going to show me what they see, what their mind sees, what they visualize. So because they're lying there, their eyes are closed, but they're taking me on this journey with them, and they're telling me, they're describing it to me, and I'm asking questions to find out more. Oh, tell me more, tell me more. And then when you say, tell me more, then there's more for them to share. It opens up pockets of information that come to them very easily and very gently. And so then they begin to see, why is this life that's being shown to them, this past life, why is this life important to them in that past life, important to them in this life? There's information there that their higher self, their subconscious, wants them to know to help them at this time. And so we find those answers. And then the second half of the session, I ask to speak with their subconscious, and their subconscious will take time to say, yes, and will speak so soft, ever so softly. And now it's encouraging that subconscious to come forward and to let's have a conversation. Yeah. And by the way, why did you show her that past life? Why was that life important for her to know in this life? And that now we're talking in third person. Well, she needed to know blah 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 blah. And you see, it's very gentle, and then now I can begin to ask the questions that they brought, and to learn more about their curiosities. The subconscious is able to access the Akashic records, where all the information is stored in this huge volume of that soul. And sometimes people have different ways of showing me that they're accessing the Akashic records. Some will say, oh, let me find out, I'll be right back. And they go and get the information, and then they come back. And some people will turn their head that way, as if they're going to go grab a book off the shelf. Or another friend of mine, her hand is there, and she's sifting through the pages of the book.
Wow. Wow.
It's really fascinating. Yeah. So it's lovely, because at the end it's recorded, so that everyone can listen to it, and you should listen to it again and again and again, because, and this is interesting. I had a session with a friend of mine. There was information in the recording that it was interesting that the capital THEY said, oh, even though he spoke it on the recording, because I heard it, they omitted that part in the recording so that he could not hear it. They said he's not ready for it yet.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's why I say listen to the recording over and over and over again, because things that are being held back will be revealed to you down the road.
Wow.
Akashic
Incredible.
records. You touched a subject that I think everybody would like to know about. Like everyone.
Yeah. Yes. Imagine, the thousands of lifetimes that we've lived. If you believe in this, I know I do. And ever since the Light Council, they shared that information with us. Then they said, "Oh yeah, no, we've done this before, so we're just here to up level." And so the Akashic Records is it's the repository of all the information of all the lifetimes of all the souls.
Wow.
And for those of us who sign up to come to Earth, uh, it's the Akashic Records is storing all of that information of all those lessons, all those lifetimes, because it's valuable information. It's the way Dolores Cannon described it is that we are all, and I believe also that we are all of us souls. We make up the 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 body of God or the goddess.
Mm.
We make up the body of the goddess, and I love Greg Braden. He's a scientist, and he bridges science and spirituality. And we know that there was the Big Bang in the very beginning, the Big Bang, and it was the size of a green pea that exploded, and all these particles of light flew everywhere in the universe. And we were all those bits and particles of light just going out there, and God or the goddess said, "Go, my children, and learn everything that you possibly can." And that's what we're doing. That's exactly what we're doing. We're living this. We are bringing information into the collective body of the universe.
We have a question for you. I know it's not related to the QHHT, but it's kind of similar, and I'm just going to put it on the screen for a sec. Do you think re-listening to recordings would apply to other recorded channel messages? And which is, I have a few from when I first started my journey a year ago, but have not gone back to listen to them.
Yeah, if they are your personal recordings, then yes. If they are recordings for someone else, then no. It would only work for yourself. Yeah, to hear something different. If I'm understanding that question correctly.
Yeah. I understood the same thing. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's wonderful. Yeah, it doesn't. So yeah, if those you have recordings from a while ago, I would definitely re-listen to them, because there's gold in there that is going to be made available to you, and you're going to hear things differently. They were channeled by someone else, but specifically for me. Oh, channeled by someone else. Yeah, I would say yes. I would say yes. Yeah,
I agree with you too on
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And following your instinct on that too, I would say, just whatever feels right. I wouldn't force anything. I think when the spontaneous right moment goes through you, you couldn't resist but do it maybe. So if I sense there's apprehension, or there's fear there or something. So, I'm sure a lot, like you said, a lot of people come into it, getting a bit worried about something. So is there something you might comment on that?
Yeah, so in my work as a kahu and working with my kumu, Karen, Aloha Carol, also she's with us from on the other side of the veil, and she was you know, and Dolores Cannon too. They're these two powerful women. Both reminded me that fear is just man-made. We make it up,
Mm.
and so fear is just a mechanism that the ego uses to keep us safe. You know,
Yeah.
so we want to give thanks to our ego for that. You know, and on this journey too, in the QHHT, I do want to mention that I ask the ego to go with us on this journey because I never want the ego to feel excluded. You know, I'm like, let's go on this journey and let's do this together because we're going to learn some amazing things. And so then that way it's like, oh, okay, yeah. I said, but I do have a requirement that you kindly, you know, just watch and observe and let's do this together. And so
I
then
love that. I love that.
that way we're not making the ego wrong,
Yeah.
and you know, it's all about love, right? And everything that we do is about love. And so where there's love, there isn't fear.
Mm.
If there is fear, then all we got to do is step into love and just allow. My mantra is let go, trust, and allow. Let go of anything that may be, you know, holding you back. It's I to me it's like downhill skiing. Have you gone skiing? You know, you when you go downhill skiing, you got to lean forward, right? You can't lean back. Otherwise you're on your butt, you know. You got to lean forward in life because and just gently remind yourself that fear has no place in my life.
Mm.
It's going to come up. It's going to come up, and we can't help it. And because we have our ego, and you know, our ego helps to keep us safe. So, but we just got to remind ourselves: lean in, breathe,
Mm.
allow, step into it, because there is so much medicine in that moment for you that is ready for you to grab a hold of and take ownership in and step into your sovereignty, because that's where your whole life will shift out of victim into
Mm.
sovereign, you know, being a sovereign being, owning who you are in this lifetime, because otherwise we're back here and we're safe. I say, like, it's like this big wooden door that we're standing on one side of, and it's very dark where we are, but we feel safe there. We love it there. It's cozy, it's quiet, it's dark. But what we can see is between the door and the door, the frame of the door, there is light streaming in from the other side. But why can't I reach out and grab the handle and turn it and open the door to step into the light? But I don't know. I just feel comfortable and safe here. So yeah, because this is where I've been all this time, so it feels good to me. But there's so much more that's being offered to us on the other side of the door.
That sounds like a good segue to talk about what's coming next. Hana I Ka Pono, I'm so excited to hear more about that.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I was so grateful again. I keep bringing up Janet because she's a huge mentor to me, and we all know her and love her. And it's because of Janet that Hana I Ka Pono was birthed. We were doing this pilgrimage together, and Kathy was a part of that, and my guides came through, and that's when I got the marching orders, the mission to. They said you've got to create something to help people to release connections to the past.
Mm.
That's past trauma, you know, even multi-generational pain and suffering. And so they guided me, and they said, you need to create something to help them to cut these cords, cut these connections, and release them. and for them to be able to do it for themselves, teach them how to fish, right? And so that, they don't have, I'm one person. I can help so many people, but if you're able to do this on your own, then you can help others and you can teach it to somebody else, and you can, we can just have this ripple effect going out. So Hana I Ka Pono is, it's a combination of the Ho'oponopono prayer that was that my kumu had gifted us, and had also shared it with Emma Mitchell, who then shared it with Janet Connor, who then we did this amazing work together since 2018, and it's been an amazing journey. And so it's the prayer combined with energy work, and to clear our energy centers from the top of our head all the way down to our feet, and to realize for ourselves where the blockages are in our lives, and to just remind ourselves that, oh yeah, it's okay, you're not bad, you're not, you shouldn't hold on to this guilt or this shame, and feel lesser than, but again, it's a process, right? We must, as we lean into this work, we feel that, hey, it's okay, yes, I have my baggage, yes, we all, guess what, we all have our baggage, everyone has, I still have baggage, I'm still working on my baggage. And so, it's not about being perfect, it's about being pono.
Mm.
And so that, yeah. And Ramzi, you want to?
Sorry, you put in an amazing point, which is, it's not about being perfect. Perfection is when we die and then we come back again to fix up certain things. As long as we are lighter with such a beautiful exercise of letting go, then we are able to move forward, releasing and that's what I understood. And you can cut me off if you feel like I moved out of out of trajectory. But it's releasing and being able to move forward in order to break that fear prison that we've created.
Beautiful.
I summarized it well.
Yes, absolutely. See, I love it when you guys can translate the things that I'm saying so eloquently. So thank you. Yes, that is exactly what it is. Yes, I mean, I was there too, right? We were all there, where we were, standing in this prison of fear, right? I was there.
Mm.
I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for my kumu and Kahu Silva and all the mentors. So let's give it up for all of our mentors, because without them, right, we wouldn't be what we're doing. We wouldn't be doing what we're doing today. We wouldn't be who we are today. But it's also the life experiences that we signed up for. I signed up to come into this world to have a level 10 experience of forgiveness. However, I forgot all the other souls who said, I'll help you with that. I'll help you with that. I'll help you with that. And I come here and then I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, this is just a little short little story, but my one big trigger is being disrespected. And it has showed up for me from this person and that person, my mom, and so why does it show up? That's the thing. Why does disrespect trigger me? Why am I triggered by that? That's the work I gotta do. They're not to blame. They're not at fault. They're one of the ones who said, I'll help you with that. And so it's just stepping into that and going, okay, so why do I feel disrespect? And do the work. It's all the inner work. That's why we're here. We're here to explore all of this in here, and then we can release it and then move forward, right? Like you mentioned, Ramzi, just moving forward on our journey and coming back to love, loving ourselves, being kind to ourselves. This up here can put us into such, um, discord and incongruency with our path, when we just need to just, calm. And that's why meditation is so good. Walks in nature is so good. Just, being kind to ourselves, speak lovingly of ourselves, think lovingly of ourselves, speak to others lovingly about ourselves. It's not easy for many people, but that's it's really that simple. Just shift the mindset into love.
You taught me a couple of my biggest lesson was on a Hana I Ka Pono journey, and I was in victim mode, the whole witch wound thing, which is what we were exploring. But the life that I went back to was perpetrator. I was one of the bad guys. Talk about how that flips everything upside down, and now I have to forgive that piece of myself. And then it changes the whole victim mentality too. It just can't be there anymore.
Mhm.
And so I have so much respect for you teaching me that. And when I see you moving your hands the way you do, I've watched those videos so many times. It just kind of makes me go to a new place.
Mm.
So can you have a couple programs coming up
Yes.
that people should know about?
Yeah. Thank you. Well, first, October 26th, a couple Saturdays from now, I host a monthly Infinite Love Prayer Circle, and it's free for anyone who wants to join us. It's a Zoom. And people can go to kahulahela.com and they can sign up for my newsletter, and then they will get the notification with the Zoom link. Yes, and it's in the banner there. Thank you so much. And 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 so this is every Saturday, every last Saturday of the month. And it all started with the Lahaina fires that happened on 8/8/2023. And so September, we started the Infinite Love Prayer Circle. I didn't know it would keep going like this, but it's turned into something that I really enjoy doing, where people can come and we pray, we pule together for all all life, for sentient beings everywhere. It's not
Mhm.
just Lahaina. It starts out in Lahaina because of the beautiful banyan tree that is our symbol of hope and of faith, which is regrowing beautifully. This amazing banyan tree uh, grew has been growing on since for 100 past 150 years, and it spanned uh, 2 acres. So it's a banyan tree that kept going, creating trees,
Wow.
branching out and branching out and branching out and branching out. 2 acres. And so much of it was damaged in the fire, but it's coming back to life, and it's so beautiful to see. So anyway, that's the prayer circle, and I always have a guest who comes and shares their their um, their information, their knowledge, and it's like they'll come and they'll share a guided meditation. They'll share breath work. They'll share a journey. Janet was on and she shared about the art four and the amazing things. And I would love to have you, beautiful ones, here as guests on this Infinite Love Prayer Circle as well.
I want to say about this, there's so much in my area. We've had floods, the floods, fires, tragedies, and I've found that the survivor's guilt is a real thing. As an empath, I can get so upset. My house is okay. My neighbor's house has to be destroyed. Where do you put that? But your prayer circle makes it feel like, okay, I can be doing something from here for the people in Lahaina, for the people in Milton. It really helps. I think it's so valuable. So I would encourage people, check
Yeah.
it out when you're feeling like you can't do a thing. You can.
Yeah. And I do want to say thank you to all the people who have donated and made a monetary contribution, because that has really helped. But there are so many areas where help is needed. And so in this Infinite Love Prayer Circle, we're sending prayer every month to go to the places where it's the darkest, to go to bring light into the darkest corners of this of the earth, and the most horrific atrocities that are occurring out there, and send these prayers to where they're needed. And so to be a part of that, and as you know, how when we come together in a sacred circle like this, it's powerful. And I always end with the quote that where there is hope, there is faith. Where there is faith, miracles happen. And amen to that, because it is so true. I've witnessed it myself. And so it's it's just a beautiful place to come and feel uplifted. And like Kathy mentioned, being in prayer to help others, it's a great way to show up and support people on this level. So thank you. Yeah.
And talk to us about Hana I Ka Pono. You have an in-person. I can't even imagine how powerful that's going to be for the people who can do this with you in your presence. My goodness.
Yeah, thank you. I really enjoy doing that as well. So I have an in-person retreat. I call it a healing retreat and workshop, because you're going to come and learn how to do Hana I Ka Pono for yourself, but then you're also going to work on another person. And so you give and you receive. So that's why it's a retreat and workshop. And it's 2 days, and it's in this beautiful place in Waimanalo on Oʻahu, which has the most amazing beach, beautiful white sand beach, amazing, the colors. I can see you, Kathy, painting the colors of the waters and the sand, your amazing artwork. And it's just a lovely gathering. Sometimes I love it when the men come as well. The first one we had Kane, and then the last two were just women, which is lovely. But I love it when there's a nice mixture. And so this was number 4, and it's going to be December 7th and 8th, Saturday and Sunday. And we start in the morning with prayer on the beach, and we Ho'oponopono for ourselves, cutting the cords so that we cleanse and clear ourselves, so we can be radiant and we can be channels of love and light. And then we go in, and there's always like healthy snacks, and make yourself a hot tea, and get your notebook, and we're going to sit down. We're going to talk about Ho'oponopono, and we get into conversation. And then my beautiful wife Geraldine, she makes these pendulums, the Cariad pendulums, and you may have yours there. Anyway, yeah, beautiful pendulums. Here somewhere, but she anyway, so she makes these gorgeous. There you go. There's a pendulum, right? One of the ones, yeah. Yep, and then they're both holding pendulums that Geraldine, my wife, has made. Thank you. Yep, gorgeous. So we learn how to use the pendulums, and we also learn how to open up our pineal gland or pineal gland. So there's this beautiful practice that Kumu Karen taught us, how to open the pineal gland, and we check it with the pendulum. And we use the pendulum when we're working over another person to check all the energy centers to see where there are blockages, and then we do the work, and then we go over with the pendulum again at the end, and people are astounded as to, you know, the clearing that has occurred in doing this energy work. And we're not touching the body, we're just working in the layers of the emotional, mental, and spiritual layers above the body, the etheric layers. So clearing the auric field. And people come out of there like very tearful and lighter, and so they need some grounding. So that's when I say, okay, go grab something to eat and go sit quietly at the beach and just, you know, be in gratitude. And, you know, and so it's a great location, because you can't beat the beaches here. It's just so amazing. Yeah.
We're going to have to add that to our list, lads. We're going to have to get to Hawaii. Like, that just sounds delicious. Oh my God.
It is.
I want to be on that beach. Wow.
Yeah.
It's in Oʻahu, is it?
Yes, on Oahu. Yes, yes. And if you've not been into the Hawaiian Islands, Oahu is the island with Honolulu. So we're the most populated island, but this is on the other side of the mountain range that goes down the middle of Oahu. So it's on the quieter side, on the windward side, where it's lush and green and tropical. And Honolulu is the concrete side of the island. So, but I would love it if you folks were able to come and join me one day. That would be we could make one just for, you know, like your group. You know, if you had a bunch of friends that wanted to come together, you know, we could just make it for your group. That would be lovely.
Let's do that.
I've put that in. That's already now written down. And you know me, I don't waste time. So planting that seed. I love that the four of us on this call came together, and as her name has been mentioned repeatedly here, our common denominator is Janet Connor, and she's a great mentor for all of us. She has brought out the best in us. She's pulled me out of that dark cupboard where I was hiding. I didn't even want to come out, and I am so deeply grateful for it, because of the opportunities with the forgiveness programs, with doing the, you know, Hana I Ka Pono. Like, my point is, like, when you do it, it does work, and when it's done, it's done. Okay, another layer might come up, but you know, it's really like you're progressing. That's what I love about it. Like, there's this real release that happens when we do the work. And the best part about doing the work in community is you're not on your own. You know, you're being held and loved and supported. And Janet really has created incredible containers for that. And I know that, Lāhela, you're going to be part of her upcoming program, which is Lotus and Lily, which was my first program with Janet. And oh my God, it was a real game changer for me. It changed a lot in my life. But do you want to just speak about being part of that as well before we wrap up?
Yes. You know, it's been wonderful. I join you in on that sentiment with Janet bringing the best out in all of us. I know for myself, I would not be here if it weren't for Janet. And it was Lotus and Lily that she first called me. It was for the 2017 Lotus and Lily. And so she asked me to come and speak about Ho'oponopono and forgiveness. And it is such an important part of this journey, right? We all know that forgiveness is a piece that, you know, it can be difficult, can be challenging to, you know, how do you forgive and how do you do that? But most importantly, to be able to forgive oneself is the key to it all. So I'm grateful that, and Kathy can speak more on, and you too, Susie, on Lotus and Lily, but my piece is bringing Hana I Ka Pono into Lotus and Lily, so we can do this work together and understand, you know, where we are blocking ourselves path. And so that's basically it in a nutshell. Yeah.
Quickly, Lotus is about reviewing our past year so that we can remember the good and the bad that happened, forgiving anything that needs to happen, and clearing the way so that we can be of service to go and do what we're called to do as we move forward. It's not about an intention board or I want this. It's about I want to serve and send me out there. It's really fun.
That's beautiful. Yeah, when we do the work, it's like, when you need to be in action, right? When you're doing this kind of work, you're in action. And as you take action, you gain clarity on your life.
Mhm.
You gain a different perspective. And it's always, just to be bold enough to step forward and to, again, lean into it and not be afraid of it, but just bear witness to how magnificent you truly are, because we're holding ourselves back. We're just standing in our own way.
Mm.
When we can just be kind to ourselves and know that, hey, no, there's no one else in this world like me. I have my own unique intelligence that I bring into the world. Everybody does, and we need everyone's voices to be heard. And so, I applaud all of you for putting this together. Thank you, Ramzi, for your open mic. I love it. It's a wonderful place for people to come and step into their greatness and to learn more and to really feel supported and held and loved and encouraged. And this is how we can help one another. So that because the tide rises all boats, right? And so this is magnificent. So thank you all. Thank you for this lovely opportunity. And I just want to hug you all right now. I got goosebumps. You guys, the chicken skin.
Oh, wow. Thank you. That is so beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
Thank
all.
you so much. Thank you for being here with us. And always, it's a team effort. It requires a whole village to get this thing moving. Thank you to the open mic team, and I think we have somebody ready to go next year to.
Let's do it.
Yay, come.
Yeah. So we're all ready to come, and I know once Susie puts it up in her book, it's done.
Oh yeah. Our next stop is Avalon in November, so we've that coming up.
Wow.
So I'm excited about that, and that kind of created itself. So I saw how that happened. So this one's in the bag, I reckon, guys.
Absolutely.
How fun and exciting.
Well, thank you all. I know we passed the hour, but it was a beautiful conversation. Thank you for everyone who's on the call and for whoever is going to see it later on. And thank you for being with us. And we'll wrap the show up. Thank you.
Thank you. Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha.